Awesome. And for those of you who are interested in the PhD clinical psychology program, either raise your hand or your digital hand. Okay, awesome. Anyone who is interested in our school psychology program, please go ahead and raise your hand, either your actual hand or your digital hand. Okay, so it looks like everyone in the room is interested in either the PhD or the PsyD in clinical psychology. Is that a correct statement? Okay, alrighty, because that's going to be on the exam at the end of our session today. So just to be clear. So welcome. We're going to go ahead and start. So bear with me. Today I was presenting to a colleague of mine, and I was showing him things on my screen. And was it 20 minutes in you told me this?
Well, I tried to get your attention, but you were so focused on your explanation, Greg. I was trying to get your attention.
Okay, so he explained to me that I was not sharing my screen. So with that, today, welcome again. We're excited that you're here. My name is Gregory Gale. With me today are two of my colleagues, Anthony Noriega, who serves as our Associate Director, and Jessica Hubble, who serves as our Assistant Director. So we're here to actually talk to you about our clinical psychology program. Now, we have budgeted an hour, but as my colleagues will tell you, we've been running an hour and a half just based on the number of questions we're receiving. So if you have to leave at the end of the hour, by all means, you can do that, but we are going to be here to answer your questions. So with that said, let me tell you what we have planned. So we're going to talk about the College of Psychology. We're also going to talk about the actual university. We'll talk about some of the programs that you are interested in. We're going to go through the application process. So that will be a step-by-step discussion. And then many of you will have questions concerning the cost of attendance. So we'll go ahead and also spend some time with that. So as you see, we're going to be using the PowerPoint as part of our presentation, but I'm also going to be using our website. Because we have a lot of information on the website. So I want to introduce you to that. So with that said, any questions so far? No? Please feel free to use the chat feature to provide us with your questions. Or if you feel comfortable, you can stop me, unmic yourself or unmute yourself and ask your question. And I will purposely stop to during the presentation to answer questions. So with that said, we'll start at the beginning. So you are at Nova Southeastern University. On your image, or I'm sorry, on the screen, you'll see two things. You'll see a number, which is 1964, as well as an image of building. So we were founded in 1964. In downtown Fort Lauderdale. We moved to our current location, which is the Fort Lauderdale-Davie area. This area used to be basically a training strip, a landing, an area for pilots to learn how to fly. And the building you're seeing on your screen is one of the first buildings at our university. It is called the Mailman Hollywood Building. So we were founded in 1964. Our first class consisted of 15 students. We were founded as a graduate institution. And as we continue to grow, essentially all of our functions were in one building. So our library, our classrooms, our offices, all were in one building. From that time to now, we have become the largest private not-for-profit university in the state of Florida. We currently have over 20,000 students who are pursuing bachelor's, master's, specialists, doctoral, and professional degrees. We have an outstanding high school at our university called University High School. We also have an early childhood development center on our campus. We're home to 2 colleges of medicine. So individuals can pursue a doctor of allopathic medicine, which is MD, or a doctor of osteopathic medicine. On your screen, you'll see my cursor, and I'm highlighting these buildings. Just prior to the COVID quarantine that we all went through, we actually had new buildings that were opened on campus. These were our residence halls for our undergraduate students. So a really comprehensive research-based institution. We also have campuses in Miami, in West Palm, in Fort Myers, Tampa Bay, Orlando, Jacksonville, and we also have a location in Puerto Rico. So from that small area in Fort Lauderdale to now having a large footprint in the state of Florida. Now, on the northwest section of that campus shot that you see is this building that you're now looking at. This is the Maxwell Malts building. This is one of 2 buildings on campus that accommodates the College of Psychology. I'm showing you this building because this, if you're interested in our clinical psychology program, this is where the majority of your classes will be located. So this is where my office is located. The building was opened in 1996, has around 2 stories. We have offices of the college here, the administrative offices, classrooms. It's also home to 15 mental health specialty clinics. And that's important for you because our students, under the guidance, the supervision of our faculty, are able to work with clients in this building. And we'll talk a little about it as we go through this presentation. And that's another thing that makes us very unique when you compare us to other institutions. So we are a research-based institution, but we're also a community-based institution. And I always like to talk about some of the activities that we do. On your screen is Shark Chats. And last year in March, when the entire world essentially started to be quarantined, we thought it was very important to share information to our community. Empirically based information. So using this medium, Zoom, we actually put together hour-long sessions on a variety of mental health topics. And we had our faculty actually lead these discussions. And we think it was very important for us to provide this kind of information. So as you can see, these were some of the sessions or webinars that we conducted. One of the more sort of entertaining ones was called Yappy Hour. And during this presentation, we talked about the relationship between humans and the furry companions that we all have. And so it's really, again, a way to talk about sort of mental health and how its applications in the real world. So we would encourage you to visit us. These are free sessions. You don't have to be a student to participate. And if you're not able to participate, we do record them and they're located on our website. So our website is nova.edu/sharkchats. So one of the first things I'm going to sort of introduce you to is on our website is how you can learn more about our faculty. So one of the hallmarks, I think, of any academic institution is the quality of the faculty. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from our PowerPoint to our website. So hopefully you're still seeing my website, yes? And not my vacation pictures in New York City. No, okay. So you visited our website and our address is very simple. It's psychology.nova.edu. When you land on this page, it has lots of information. We have fast facts about who we are. The fact that we have 3 doctoral programs. One of our programs is CREP accredited. It also provides you with the opportunity to learn more about our undergraduate, master's, specialist, as well as doctoral programs. It talks about our 15 mental health clinics. So you can click there and it gets you to that area. And then as well as our faculty, as well as news and events. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the top of the page and you see these 3 lines. Those are called hamburger menu. We're going to click on the hamburger menu and we're going to go down to faculty and staff. Now, when we arrive on this page, there are 3 things I want to highlight. The first thing is that you are able to search for our faculty in several options. In this particular example, we are going to find the faculty for our clinical and school psychology area. So we're going to click on the radio button, and when you scroll down, it will give you a list of our faculty. And once you get to that list, you can highlight a faculty member. So in this example, we're going to see more about Dr. Finns. So we're going to click on Read Profile. And when we go to that page, you'll see several things: her name, her title, her email, her address, or office location, her CV, that gives you her employment and professional interests, her education, obviously a picture of who she is, and then some narrative about her. Now, many of our faculty are well known within their field, both domestically and internationally. And so when we have information about that, what we frequently do is we put that kind of information under news and events. The second thing I want to highlight is many of our faculty do outstanding research in a variety of different areas. So we try to chronologue or catalog that information by putting them under faculty scholarships. So when you click on that link, we list that information by year in a PDF. And as you can see, it will give you the name of the faculty, the publications that that person has been doing, the presentations, and other scholarly activities. And so when I say that our faculty are, really involved with different kinds of scholarly activity, this is one place you can go and find that information. So again, we list this by year. But the final thing I want to share on this page is our subject matter expertise. So many of you are interested in a particular area. And so you would like to know if we have faculty in that particular field. And so what we've done is we have listed many of our faculty on this Excel file. And in this particular example, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight our clinical psychology faculty. And so you'll see the person's name, the program, and then we list 4 columns of expertise. So if your area of interest is trauma or forensic or neuropsychology or LGBTQ or prejudice, etc., you can find that expertise and then scroll over to find the faculty. And then this is the link to their faculty profile. So this is open to everyone. You don't have to be a student to get access to this information, nor do you have to have permission to contact faculty. So if, again, you find the area that you're interested and you'd like to start the conversation with the faculty, you can just go to their faculty profile page and start the conversation. So as a reminder, how did we get here? We went to our faculty staff page, we clicked on faculty subject matter expertise, and it took us to this Excel file. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back to our PowerPoint and we're going to move on. So we are home to 3 outstanding doctoral programs. We have a clinical psychology PhD program, a clinical psychology Doctor of Psychology program, and a school psychology PsyD or Doctor of Psychology program. These are outstanding programs in a variety of ways. One of the main ways we like to highlight is really our accreditation. So these programs are accredited by the Commission on Accreditation of the American Psychological Association. As you probably are aware, this is the premier accreditation body for doctoral programs in the United States. So each of those programs have been given accreditation for 10 years. So again, this outside organization has looked at our faculty, looked at our curriculum, looked at student outcomes, etc., and based on that, awarded us their accreditation. This year, we received reaccreditation for our school psychology program. So it was reaccredited for 10 years. We're also home to a specialist degree in school psychology, and you're probably wondering, what is a specialist degree? Well, a specialist degree is an intermediate degree between a master's degree and a doctorate. In this particular example, this degree is 79 credit hours, and a school psychologist is a clinician, a psychologist whose main area of interest is working with children or working with individuals in the K through 12 model. And we'll talk more about it in a few slides, but if there's anyone here who's interested in working with children and working with high school students or elementary school students, please let me know, because this could be a wonderful fit for you. This particular program is approved by the Florida Department of Education. It does lead to licensure, and it also holds designation of recognition by the National Association of School Psychologists. So again, a highly ranked, a highly credentialed program. So let's talk about a PhD in clinical psychology. So the PhD program historically was really looked at by or enrolled in by individuals who are interested in being either a university faculty member or interested in doing research. That continues to be the case, where if you are interested in teaching, this is one of the programs that you would consider. And you'll hear me say empirically based or evidence-based throughout this presentation. And we think that's incredibly important because our degrees, our programs are grounded in fact, grounded in science. And so this program, as you can see, adheres to the principle that psychology is an empirically based discipline. And so this is the scientist practitioner training model. And the focus of the program is the empirical analysis of current topics and problems in health service psychology. The curriculum consists of 118 credit hours, and off that, and consists of 5 years, including a 1-year internship. Students must successfully complete a clinical competency exam. And in terms of the range of courses, they're primarily in general psychology, assessment, intervention, and methodology. So individuals are learning or building on their knowledge of psychology. They're given the ability to assess a situation, how to intervene, provide treatment options, and also how to make sure that what they are actually prescribing actually completes or is in fact doing what it's supposed to do. So as I mentioned, the curriculum consists of 5 years, and you'll notice that we have concentrations and tracks. So I'll say this around a few times during my presentation, but the vast majority of the students who are interested in both our PsyD and PhD are generalists. So they're interested in learning to be clinicians in this field. But some of you are also interested in a particular area. And so we'll talk about that, how you can actually pursue a concentration here. The programs obviously lead to licensure. And another unique feature about our curriculum is that we also have a joint degree with our College of Business at Nova Southeastern University. So both individuals in our PhD program and our PsyD program can also join an MBA program or earn an MBA while they're at the university. So again, another unique feature with us. Some similarities between these two programs. You can see these main areas of the curriculum. So again, some general courses to make sure everyone has the same foundation in psychology, learning about assessment, learning about intervention. There's a practicum, again, methodology, and then general and electives. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our website to find out more information. So we're going to go back to our main page, which is the College of Psychology. We're going to click on the hamburger menu. We're going to click on academics. We're going to go down to doctoral, and then we're going to go to our PhD in clinical psychology. So we're going to arrive at this page. And lots of information again on the page, including our accreditation, which again we think is incredibly important, and our concentrations. Again, we're going to talk about that momentarily, as well as the 15 mental health specialty clinics that we have, and those are actually grouped under the umbrella of the Psychology Services Center. So we're going to go back up, and what we're going to do first is we're going to look at the curriculum. So when we click on the curriculum, we actually provide you with, again, lots of information. What you're seeing now is a list of the courses that are part of the PhD curriculum. Now, our programs have what's called continual enrollment or continuous enrollment. And what that means is every term that you're in the curriculum, you are going to be, or you should be registered for courses. So unlike an undergraduate program where you may take courses in the fall and then in the spring, or what we call the winter, and then take the summers off, our students are continually enrolled in the curriculum each term. And so in this, what you're seeing on the screen is we list for the PhD program, the first year fall, first year winter, which is what some schools call their spring, summer, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you notice that these courses, the course numbers are hyperlinked, what we do is we provide you with more information about that particular course. So when you click on that, it takes you to our course wizard, and then it gives you more information about the course, where it's located, the number of credit hours, the learning outcomes. And then depending on the time of the year, it also lists the information concerning location and faculty. So again, how did we get here? We were at the curriculum section, and you can click on any of these and it will tell you more about that particular area. The other thing, as I mentioned, that many of our students are interested in is our concentrations and tracks. And so we do provide additional information about this opportunity, and they include the following. So the first thing, again, is that the vast majority of our students are not in any concentration. They are very much generalists. However, for students who are interested in forensic or health or neuroscience or psychology or psychodynamic, mental health, serious mental health, child or multicultural, they can choose those options as part of their curriculum, both in the PhD as well as the PsyD. And so it lists the coursework that those individuals would be taking. Now, students would join these concentrations in the first or second year when they're in the program. So this, again, the ability to join it, it's after you've been admitted to the curriculum. So either in your first year or your second year, you'd complete an application to be considered for the program. And we do that because we really pride ourselves on having really strong interpersonal, relationship for our students and our faculty. So it's not the case where you're going to be one of 500 within that particular concentration, because the concentration consists of electives, practicum, and research activities with our faculty. And sometimes our faculty are able to provide students with other alternatives if they just want to learn more about that particular program, and maybe a concentration is not really necessary for them to increase their knowledge of that particular area. So again, a fantastic way to learn more about a particular area, or if you want, you can just be a generalist in that particular field. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the PowerPoint, and then we're going to go now into our PsyD program. So we just finished the PhD, and we're now going into the PsyD. So the PsyD, or Doctor of Psychology, was founded on the practitioner informed by science model. So historically, individuals who are interested in this field are interested in being practitioners. That is, they're going to work for themselves, or they're going to work for an agency. They work for the federal government. Now, many of them also do research, and many of them also teach. So it really is varied in terms of what they are interested in doing. So this prepares students to do assessments, intervention, and to evaluate their efficacy. Does what the treatment option state its purpose? Oh, does it do that? And so the curriculum, just like the PhD, offers individuals a list of options, or not options, but courses, buckets. So there's a academic part, a practicum part, internship part, as well as research experience that is necessary for them as they are practicing, as they become a clinician in clinical mental health. The curriculum consists of 119 credit hours. Again, 5 years, as you saw previously. And students also have to complete a clinical competency exam. And again, the areas are general, assessment, intervention, and methodology. Very much similar, the same as I said with the PhD in terms of the concentration. Both groups of students have the opportunity to select one or none of the concentrations. And again, to underline what I've said, the concentration is an application, requires an application for students to be admitted into it. So we limit the number of individuals who can participate. Students would start this process either in their first or their second year, and students are limited to one concentration. So I think sometimes students think of it as like a minor, where they can have 1 or 2 or 3 minors. Here, because this is a doctoral program, students are really limited to just one concentration. And once they're in the concentration, there's a set of courses that they would take, a practicum, and then they're going to be doing research with the faculty. So let's start talking about the application process. So again, we're going to go back to the hamburger menu, admissions, graduate, and we're going to use the PsyD clinical psychology option as the example. Now, the PhD and the PsyD process is essentially the same. There are going to be a few differences, and I'll identify them through the process. So the first thing you should know is that we welcome students once per year into the program. And that's usually in the fall. So again, students will start in the fall of each year. The minimum requirements are listed on your screen. So students must have a minimum of a bachelor's degree to join us. Though some individuals might even have master's or some graduate work when they apply for admission. If students are coming directly from an undergraduate program, they must have a minimum of a 3.0 out of the 4.0, the American model, to be considered for this program. Or if they have at least 18 graduate credit hours, they must have a minimum of a 3.5 out of 4.0 credit hours. Many of our students will join us with a bachelor's degree in psychology, but that's not a requirement. What we do require is for you to have at least 18 semester hours in psychology. Off that, you must have at least 3 credit hours in statistics. You can also, and this is just recommended, have at least 1 course in experimental psychology. Now, for applicants for fall 2022, we will not be requiring the GRE for admission. And what that means is when you submit your application for admission, there's the GRE requirement will be waived. So you do not have to submit your GRE scores to us. The actual process is as follows. Oh, I also wanted to highlight that the chair of our program, Dr. John Lewis, actually provides 2 videos on both the application process as well as our interview day process. So here are the steps for you to follow. Once you know when you'd like to start, you are strongly encouraged to complete our application for admission. Now, our application is online, so we don't have a paper application. And the process really takes around 20 to 30 minutes to complete. And it's really your way of telling us, your name, your address, where you went to school, etc. We also have a PDF here. So if you need instructions on how to complete the application, you can just go through the PDF. At the end of that process, you are required to submit a processing fee of $50. And that shows us your intent to submit your application. Now, once we have that, then you're able to upload the documents that our committee admissions, faculty admissions committee will be looking at. So the first document is the statement of professional goals. And what that means is we would like you to tell us why you're interested in this particular field. And so you can talk about your clinical experience, research experience, really anything you'd like the faculty committee to look at. One hint, I would strongly encourage you to actually have someone review it before you actually submit it to us. Second thing is your CV or your resume. And so what we want to know is essentially your activities, your professional goals. Have you participated in any activities outside of class? What activities have you participated in your curriculum? So that's the way that you would share that information with us. Then we would require 3 letters of recommendation. So for many students, if they're currently enrolled, they will contact their faculty members to actually write 3 letters of recommendation. And the actual process is, as part of our application for admission, you would send an email from the application to 3 individuals. They will get a link. They'll click on the link, and it gives them the ability to sort of give us their evaluation of your candidacy, and it also gives them the ability to upload the letter of recommendation. So if, however, there have been some distance between your bachelor's degree and where you are now, you have the ability of having supervisors or individuals who can attest to what kind of graduate student you are to submit your letters of recommendation. So again, faculty members or supervisors who are knowledgeable about your candidacy. You would submit official documents from all the schools that are part of your bachelor's degree. So one question we get asked is, I attended a community college, and then I graduated from a four-year institution, and all the courses from the community college are on the four-year institution transcript. Do I still need a transcript from the community college? And the answer is yes, you do. It's important for us to get that information because we want to look at your entire academic history. Your registrar's office can actually mail your documents to us, but we also allow them to email, that is to send an electronic version of your transcript to us for review. And that is the easiest and quickest way for us to get your information. Again, for applicants to fall 2022, the GRE score is waived. And if you completed your degree in a language other than English, then we will require you to supply us with proof of English proficiency. So we get all those documents, we put that in an electronic folder, and the next step is for us to send it to our faculty admissions committee. So our faculty will be reviewing your information and then determining next steps. Next steps in this example will be to invite you to an interview day. So in the pre-COVID world, that meant coming physically to our campus in the Fort Lauderdale-Davie area for a day-long activity. However, for our interview days for this cycle, they will be conducted using this format, which is Zoom. And so students or applicants will participate in an interview day via Zoom. It's a day-long activity, so it'll start at 9 a.m. and it will probably be finished at around 3 o'clock. And we have basically replicated what would take place on our campus. So you would be meeting with our faculty, meeting with our current students, and really it's an opportunity for you to learn more about our program. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions of our students, our faculty, and it's also an opportunity for us to learn about you, because at the end of the process, it really is we're trying to determine fit, whether we have what you're looking for and whether you are going to be successful at our institution. So we have 4 interview days, and applicants would participate in those days. And then by the end of March, we would be sending out decisions to the applicants. And if you're admitted, then you'll have until April the 15th to actually determine whether or not you'd like to accept the offer. Now, on your screen are the application deadline dates. And just to underscore what a deadline date is, that is the last day to submit your documents for the particular term. And so you'll notice that we have 2 of them. We have an early decision or early deadline date of November the 1st, and then a second one, which is January the 8th. So the deadline date for fall 2022 is January 8, 2022. The early date, November 1st, allows those applicants the ability to participate in the first interview day. But if you're not able to apply and supply all the documents by November the 1st, then you are obviously able to supply all the documents by January the 8th. So I realize I'm talking a lot. I'm going to stop talking and to see if there are any questions about what I've just explained.
We had a question from, or a hand raised from Nicola. You still on?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello, welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm an international student, so I would like to know if you'll be able to go over the I-20 information, please.
Sure. And Nicola, what I will do, I'll briefly go over that, but I would also recommend that we meet one-on-one so we can go into more detail concerning the process. So yes, so let me do this. I'm going to share my screen one more time. And hopefully there is a link here for international students. And so once admitted, you will be asked to submit additional documents for us. And let's see here. Let's see. Let's make sure. That's not it. So I apologize. I thought I remembered the link here. Essentially, what will happen is we will, 1 second, prospective students, there should be a link for I-20, and I don't see it right now. So essentially what will happen is once admitted, you will be getting information from our Office of International Student Scholars. And so this information will contain the next steps for you. It will include you completing the I-20 or giving us information for us to include the I-20. We at this stage do not offer scholarships to international students as part of the admissions process. So international students must be able to show 1 year's worth of funding for that particular program. Additionally, we will ask you to supply us with information about, and let me see if I can see that, additional information about your passport. Essentially, we give you information concerning how to apply for the visa. And all of that then is sent to you. Then you would make arrangements depending on where your home country is and where the nearest US embassy is to apply for the visa. Now, I'm assuming if your English is not your first language, then you also would have to have your transcripts evaluated by an evaluation agency as well. So
English is my first language.
Awesome. So Nicola, what I'd like you to do is I would like to go into more detail concerning this. So I'm just giving you an overview. So if you want to, if my colleagues could actually put my email address in the chat, then we can continue this conversation separately.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexa, go ahead.
Sorry, I have just 2 quick questions. First, when you brought up having our personal statements be reviewed, did you mean by like a friend, family member, or advisor? Or did you mean someone from the school?
Oh, thank you for asking me to clarify that. No, essentially the faculty admissions committee will be looking at your document to make sure that it's written in a manner that it would be acceptable to graduate education. And so what I would strongly recommend is, as you do, hopefully, in your bachelor's degrees, you have someone who's knowledgeable about essay writing, etc., to review it. Because the worst thing you want is to have a document that actually has grammatical errors or spelling, etc., or it doesn't provide the information that an admissions committee would look at. So no, it's not someone from us reviewing it, but it's someone from your side making sure that this is a well-written document.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And your second question?
For scholarships, do we apply for those after we get accepted? If we do?
Sure, yes. So that's part of the presentation, and yes, that's when that would occur.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.
Emily.
Hi, so I have two questions.
Okay.
So I'm like planning on applying like the 2023 cycle.
Okay.
So I was wondering if like you guys anticipate like bringing back that GRE requirement, or I don't know if I should like start preparing for that, or
That's an excellent question, and you are not the first one to ask us that question. So because we are in a pandemic, and we realized early on the pandemic that the Educational Testing Center or services was not able to provide testing in a safe manner. Our programs, like many programs across the United States, waived that requirement because we did not want to actually have impediments for our students to be able to join us. And because we're still in a pandemic, we decided to do the same thing for fall 2022. It has also brought up, a conversation concerning the value of the GRE as part of the enrollment process. So the faculty are looking at that, but I can't tell you the final decision. It could mean that they continue using it as one of several things that they review in order to make an admissions decision, or they may decide on something else. So as of right now, I don't have anything more to share. So I'm sorry.
okay. And I have one more question.
Sure.
So I saw that for undergrad it was like a 3.0, and then for graduate it was 3.5. Is that like a graduate program of psychology? Because like I'm doing one now, but it's just kind of unrelated. So I wanted to know if like that it's just like any grad program, 3.5.
Sure. So that's a great question. So a doctoral program builds on the foundation of either your master's or your bachelor's degree. And so, yes, we would want to make sure you have a foundation in psychology. So my hope is that you have at least 18 credit hours in psychology, either on the undergraduate side or the graduate side. We would obviously request your transcript for all the schools you've attended. If your master's degree is in a related area but not psychology, the faculty will still look at it, but the emphasis will be on your psychology information. Okay, thank you. All right, who else?
Lauren?
Hi, so I was just wondering if this is like other clinical psychology PhDs where you in your personal statement say a mentor you'd want to work with, or is it more of an open-ended, you pick a mentor afterwards?
Thank you. So when I was discussing that the programs were very similar and there are some exceptions, that is one of them, Lauren. So with our PhD program, the number of students we admit is dependent on the number of our faculty who are able to mentor or work with our students. And so historically, we've had between 8 and 10 or so PhD individuals join us each fall. This year, we actually had 13, but in terms of the range, it's usually in that ballpark. So yes, the determining factor concerning the number of individuals we admit into the PhD program, or one of the main ones, is the number of faculty who would be available to mentor those students.
Okay, and on the application, it also asked if I'd be interested in a PsyD as well, so I just checked the button. But for my personal statement, should I like indicate that as well, or is the application enough?
Both. I would indicate it both on the application and also your essay, because we are also going to be reviewing that information as well to determine, because we do have students who sometimes will say they're interested in a PhD, but after reviewing their information, we think it's a better match for the PsyD. So yes, by all means, tell us that as part of your essay, because we do really want to look at whether your information that you would be a good fit for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Serena.
Hi. So I was just wondering when you spoke about the special tracks for like if you're interested in like let's say like family psych or child psych, like those different tracks that you can potentially go into once you're admitted into the school a year or two later. You showed us a list of the classes that you would have to take for that. So I was wondering if that's an additional classes or that's a part of the like total amount of credits and just like you're going to be taking those specific classes.
So the latter. So it is part, so our students will be taking the curriculum, and then the concentration would be in addition to that. Now you have electives that could take some of those courses could take the place off, but it could be a possibility where you could be taking more than the 119 credit hours as part of your curriculum. And that's why it's important for us to have individuals actually complete the essay, the application, I'm sorry, and meet with so our faculty can review, because there are times when our students are interested, but completing the concentration might satisfy their interest, as opposed to them completing the transcript and them taking additional credit hours as part of their doctoral degree. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Gwendolyn.
Hello, I also wanted to ask a question about, because I'm looking at PhD programs. Is this, I contacted you recently and to ask about funding, and I was told that you guys offer a tuition waiver and a stipend or something like that for 5 years. Is that correct?
So as part of the application process, right now we don't have funding. Now, students can be employed in our program, and we'll talk about that going forward, but it's sort of separate from the application process. So some schools actually have that. So you're admitted and you're fully funded and you have your TA-ship, et cetera, et cetera. Ours is different. Our application process, we are admitted students into the program, and then once admitted, then students can actually either apply for positions or be considered for positions that could provide funding.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.
Wapanya?
Hi, thank you. So going back to the personal statement, I'm wondering if there is a minimum or maximum word requirement, just because from what I've been hearing from professors and other teachers, they say some 5 pages, some people say 1 page. So I'm wondering what your school looks for in regards to that.
Which is a great question, because my colleague Anthony and we did reach out to our clinical program and ask them for that. So right now there isn't really a word limit concerning that. And so it gives you some creativity, some flexibility in terms of what you provide. So obviously you don't want 1 page, nor do we want a dissertation. So
Okay.
our faculty really, I guess they make it like that, so it forces our applicants to be economical with their writing. I guess it's a way for them to say, tell us why you should be admitted to our program, and get to the point.
Okay, got it.
So it really gives you that flexibility, as opposed to saying only no more than 800 words, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go to our last question so we can go on with our presentation. Nicola, go ahead.
I have one more question, and this is going based off of Gwendolyn's question. As an international student, then, because I noticed you said scholarships, you all don't offer scholarships to international students. Do you all offer employment?
So hold that question, and I will just say, yes, we do for all of our students, including international students. So yes, we do allow international students to work on campus. We do offer them funding as a scholarship. They're able to apply for scholarships while they are current students. But again, for all of our students, we don't link the application process with funding.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Alrighty. So it is almost 5 o'clock. So what I'll do is we do have some more information to share. So in the interest of time, I may be speaking quickly. And if you have questions, please feel free to stop me while I go through the presentation. So to let you know, again, we have 3 doctoral programs. And the third one is our school psychology Doctor of Psychology program. On your screen, you can see that it requires a minimum of 118 credit hours. There's a research project, internship. On average, students will take 15 credit hours per courses or per semester, and all students must complete a comprehensive exam. So again, if anyone is interested in working with children, working with in the K through 12 model, this would be an excellent program for you to think about. In terms of your screen, you can see the number of sort of areas that are part of the curriculum, from the history to foundations to internship, etc. The application process is essentially the same than in terms of what I've just explained. Although what I will say, and I will share my screen with you, is, let's go back here. What will be different is the deadline date. School is different. So the application requirements, as I mentioned, are very much the same as what we've discussed: a bachelor's degree, the GPA, the number of credit hours, statistics, GRE, the personal statement, the transcripts, 3 letters of recommendation, etc. Now, in terms of the deadline dates, for this particular program, we actually also have 2 deadline dates. However, our first deadline date is January the 8th, and then our second deadline date is June the 30th. And you might be asking, why June the 30th? And the reason is many of the individuals who are interested in this program are in the education system. And so for teachers, having a January 8th date is a bit early. So having a June date is much better for them. So we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. The SciS program, which is that intermediate degree between a master's degree and a doctorate, is a fantastic sort of program for students to choose from. And so our clinicians, or students when they become clinicians, they're going to be working with students so that they can succeed academically, socially, and behaviorally. And so this individual is sort of a hybrid. That person not only knows about education, but also knows about psychology and human development. And both programs, the doctoral program and well as the SciS program, they're what we consider a critical need program. And by that I mean there is a huge shortage of these clinicians in this country due to a variety of factors. The current individuals are retiring, and there has been a greater emphasis on mental health in this nation. And so many school districts, many states are hiring more school psychologists. So if any one of you are interested in getting a job immediately after college, this would be a superb program to look at. As I mentioned, the curriculum consists of 79 credit hours, 3 years of coursework, practicum, full year internship, and this program does lead to licensure. In terms of the courses that students would take, they're listed on your screen, very much similar to what we've seen before. And the advantage for pursuing this particular degree, just to let you know, you're able to complete this entire curriculum and also continue into the doctoral program. And all the courses that are part of the specialist program will then be part of the doctoral program. So again, that's a special benefit for this program. And the admission requirements are very similar in terms of what we're looking for admission. So let's quickly talk about the affordability part as we end our session. So the takeaway that I'd like you to have from this is that we have a group of individuals at our institution who are here to help you with the cost of attendance. As well as everything that I'm about to tell you is located on our website. That is the Office of Student Financial Assistance website. So we'd like you to visit us at nova.edu/financial aid to learn more about the process. When you get to that web page, you'll find information about scholarships, student employment, veterans, loans, etc. So you can actually search for scholarships on this website. So if you know the name of the scholarship, or you want to learn about graduate scholarships, or you want to look for scholarships within a particular college, you have that ability to do that. Additionally, we also offer information about scholarships within the College of Psychology. So again, you click on the hamburger menu, you'll click on admissions and then scholarships, and it will take you to the College of Psychology scholarships page. We list 3 kinds of scholarships there. We have general scholarships, which means anyone within the College of Psychology can apply for these scholarships. We have clinical psychology scholarships, and then we also have counseling scholarships. Now, as I mentioned before, students would actually have to be, applicants would actually have to be students at the university in order to be considered for these scholarships. So again, you would go to this page, you'd find a scholarship you're interested in, you click the plus arrow, gives you some background information as well as eligibility for these scholarships. Again, students must generally be, or individuals must be students at Nova Southeastern University to be considered for these scholarships. In terms of these kind of scholarships, these are called graduate institutional scholarships, which means these scholarships are housed at the university. Then we also have external scholarships, and these are scholarships that we've reviewed, and anyone can apply for these scholarships. And again, you get access to that information, which is open to everyone by going to our financial aid office's website. We also have a group of individuals at our university who can help you with that loan process. And so we want to make sure that our students don't take out more loans than is needed for their degree. So one area of that program or that unit is called the Debt Squad, and they can provide you with information on loan forgiveness, provide you with just sort of facts you need to know about applying for federal loans, really just explaining the whole process to you. We are a military-friendly institution, and we're home to a large number of military or veterans. And so if you are a veteran, thank you for your service. Again, we also have individuals here to assist our veterans through this process to make sure that they're taking the right sequence of courses and they're going through the curriculum at a good pace, and to make sure that their VA process is actually smooth. We're also home to a Veterans Resource Center, and they're there to help our students acclimate to life at the university. One of the questions someone asked is concerning employment, and yes, we do employ individuals on campus. So whether you're an international student or a domestic student, you're able to work on campus. So you're able to work as a graduate assistant, a graduate teaching assistant, a graduate research assistant, and for US citizens and permanent residents, they're also able to work as work study. And so these are wonderful opportunities for students to pay or help pay for their education. If there is a gap between what you are able to pay and the cost of attendance, then you also have the ability of working with the Office of the Bursars concerning our tuition payments. And so they are there to help you make sure that your education is not interrupted while you're at the university. So the process starts with you completing the FAFSA. So if you're a US citizen or permanent resident, you would complete the free application for federal student aid. Now, this is the same document that you would complete on the undergraduate side. And so a question we always get asked is, when do you start this process? Well, one good idea is to, or one good recommendation is to start it essentially the January of the year you'd like to start. So I wouldn't encourage you to wait until you're admitted in order to start this process. One of the benefits for completing it earlier, more so than later, is if the university has extra funding, what they will do is they will look at the date that they receive the FAFSA form, and then they will allot it in chronological order. So and plus, once you submit your forms early, the sooner you'll be able to know about your financial package. So we're here to help you. On the screen, you can see the address for Student Financial Assistance Office. You can call them, you can visit them online, and they're here to really help you. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing and to see if there are any questions or topics that we did not discuss that you'd like us to talk about. Or unless everyone is sleeping. Awesome. All righty. Not seeing any questions. What I will say is thank you so much for joining us. We are here to help you. So I've shared with you so much information. So I want to make sure that you have all the information you need in order to make your decision concerning enrolling at our institution. So we are here to help you. So on behalf of my team, oh, I see a hand is raised.
Oh, sorry, me again. Really quick, going back to the letters of recommendation, I've been in the law field long and I switched to psychology recently, so I don't have many psychologists that can write me a letter. I just have plenty of lawyers or judges in that field that can write me a letter. Would it impact my application at all if I don't have someone in the psychology field to write my letter?
So not necessarily. What we want to do, and remember the purpose of the letter of recommendation is to have someone who's familiar with your background tell us how you're going to be as a graduate student. And so while we would prefer to have, a psychology professor who you've worked with for 4 years and know you're going to be an excellent doctoral student, we recognize that many students will have some distance between when they apply and when they went to school. So
Right.
yes, you can actually have individual supervisors write letters of recommendation, especially if it's in the field that you're going to go into. So in this example, for instance, if your area of expertise is going to be forensic, and you have someone who's a lawyer or a judge write your letter of recommendation, I think that would be very appropriate.
Okay, got it. Understood. And it would be preferably faculty and professionals, not necessarily just personal letters of recommendation.
That is correct. So
Okay.
professional or faculty, those are the kinds of information or the kinds of individuals we want to provide us with information from you, about you. So,
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Alrighty. Oh, I see there's another handout. Okay.
You're muted.
Hi everyone, I'm Latifat. My question is actually for trying to get into the graduate program. Do we actually need a GRE to get in, or like it doesn't matter?
Sure. So tell me, what academic program are you interested in?
I'm actually interested in the PhD in psychology program. I know that a lot of times the clinical psychology program is really, really hard to get into, and I have a background in clinical psychology and I've been practicing for a while. I've been doing a lot of research. I've taught for like maybe 2 years or 3 years, but I just really wanted to know. I'm just trying to see like what programs actually would benefit me at this time. So
Sure. So what I will say is, if my colleagues, actually what I will do is I will give you the link to our programs with the admission requirements. But for individuals who are joining us, that is for our doctoral program in clinical psychology for fall 2022, we have waived the GRE requirement for those programs. That decision is only for that particular semester. So it's important, if you're deciding to join us at a later semester, that decision might not be the same, or that information might not be the same. So if you're able to look at the chat feature, you'll see that we're listing the admission requirements for our clinical psychology program there. And you're muted.
And is that a PsyD program or the PhD in clinical psychology?
So the decision, the GRE requirement for both programs have been waived. And so what I will do as well is I will list the admission requirements for our PhD in clinical psychology in the chat as well. And if you'd like, after reviewing it, or if you have any questions, additional questions right now, we're happy to meet with you one-on-one to walk you through that process. But just to quickly answer your question, both are not, we are not requiring the GRE for both programs.
And this recording will be provided for everyone as well.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Alrighty, not seeing any. I think everyone is thoroughly sleeping by this time, so I did a good job. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And we are here, as I said, to answer all your questions. So we look forward to working with you in the future. So on behalf of my team, have a good night and until next time.